Welcome back, everybody. This is another edition of Scholar Shorts. Today, from the 2011 cohort, we have Jaisa. Jaisa's here. She's going to tell you a little bit about what she's been doing. So I'll turn the microphone over to her.
Thank you so much, Justin. It's such a pleasure to be able to speak to my peers and also the people who have contributed to making my life a reality in the way that it's currently shaped and organized. My name is Jaisa Minor. I am a 2011 Gates Scholar. I attended Howard University as well as University of Hawaii at Manoa, and that second one would not have been possible without the resources provided by Gates. I feel like I got the best of both worlds in my college experience, being able to study finance and international business in my undergrad years, and then using that education as a platform to be able to serve a greater purpose than myself. And currently, I'm doing that through venture capital and specifically leveraging venture capital as a means of creating generational wealth for communities that have been excluded from reaping the benefits of entrepreneurship and equity and ownership in business. And so, with my original career journey, what I wanted to do with Gates and what's still part of my vision is to one day have a school. And so that's always been something that's been an undertone or like the um, the driving force behind why I do what I do. I think that there's a huge gap in knowledge and access and exposure to entrepreneurship and how it can create economic justice in a lot of ways for communities that have been underserved in entrepreneurial fields. And when I even learned about venture capital, I never heard of it until it was in a college classroom, and so many people never even have the opportunity to be in that space. So I've been very intentional about being in an industry that people like me are very underrepresented and using that as an asset rather than something that undermines my ability to be successful in the space. And currently, in my role as head of partnerships for HBCU VC, I'm working to bring more underrepresented Black, Brown, Indigenous, Latinx investors into this field by working with venture capital funds who share a commitment to doing this work and bringing about more diversity and as well as more capital for underfunded founders. So that's been my mission. That's been my bread and butter, and I've applied it as well to my own personal family. I feel like you can't be out here making everybody else millionaires and not bring it home.
Right.
That's something that I've done personally with my family, starting a juice bar in Atlanta called Juice Heads ATL. Have to shout them out. So that's been my sweet spot when I'm not doing things for other people.
Okay, so you definitely talked a little bit about everything with regarding venture capitalism and why you feel as though it's so important for you to bestow this knowledge. So, but I want to ask you a more specific question, and it's very very specific. So why you? Why you in regards to you being the one to do the work that you're doing? Why do you feel as though it's you?
That's a fantastic question. I think that it is a huge expectation that comes with being a Gates scholar. For me, when I got the scholarship, I always felt like it was bigger than me. Like I didn't get this because I'm the most fantastic, wonderful person in the world. I did it because I had a commitment to do something greater with it and to use it as a way to open doors for other people. And I think that mentality is part of the reason why I've been put in the position to do this work. I've always been intentional about working from a place of service. So whether I'm working with an entrepreneur or I'm working with another investor trying to close a deal, I'm always thinking about how can I do this in a way where if it were my last day on earth, that someone would say that I did it the right way or that I did it in a way that made their life better. And that's rare in this
Yeah.
industry, but because it is, like you said, capitalism at the root of venture capitalism. And there are a lot of moral challenges that come up for me with that and the inequity that comes with capitalism. But for me, being able to play the game while it's still, the only game there really is to play, puts me in a position to be able to have influence and impact for a better future. So that's something that I've been very focused on as far as how I show up in the space and the way that I do work.
Okay. So I'm just sitting here and I'm grateful that you're doing the work that you're doing within our communities. So I want to ask you, I don't want to really say what's next for you because I know where you're at, but what you know, you see yourself doing in the next 5 to 10 years? Are you still in this space? Are you just growing within this space? Or are you just expanding to, kind of other dimensions? So where are you at? What are you doing?
Right. So the typical career trajectory for someone in venture capital is to either rise in the ranks in a fund where you are a general partner and you're the one making the investment decisions and you're the one responsible for raising the funds to continue doing the work, or you go off and you start your own fund. And so you're starting from scratch where you build out your own investment thesis, you build your own team, you go to institutional capital, and you pitch your perspective on how the next generation of companies that solve society's problems should look. But for me, I feel like I'm still in the process of defining that.
Hmm.
So it's not easy for me to just say like, oh, I'm picking A box or I'm picking B box. It's really more so about um, really showing up from, like I said, a place of service. It's like, where can I have the most impact? And for me, I still feel like that space is education. I still have the dream to start a school. So in the next 5 to 10 years, I would love to be able to leverage the career experience that I've had and the relationships and being able to have a network of investors, which is something that's extremely valuable in itself. How can I bring this information and this knowledge to a greater group of people? In particular, with me being back in Atlanta, I think there's a huge opportunity to get heavily involved in developing the tech ecosystem here and being able to make sure that the people who are born and bred in the city have the opportunity to be able to get the careers and the wealth that comes from participating in the tech economy and the growing tech ecosystem. So that's something I see myself being heavily involved in. Um, Also, as far as me being able to be an entrepreneur in that same spirit, working with the juice bar, I see myself continuing to be involved there and being someone who is a business owner in my city, as well as someone who is involved in philanthropy and education in the city. And I feel like what comes with that, of course, is some level of political engagement to be able
Right.
to really initiate and execute on change. So I see myself sitting at the intersection of those spaces. And from a deal perspective, I still want to be in an investment seat. I'm currently a venture partner as well with Nomis Ventures. So having the ability to still write checks, to still be heavily involved in deal flow and bring more Black millionaires or just underrepresented millionaires into the economy to solve problems in communities that have been ignored. Like that's really the mission at this point.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, Jason, I want to thank you, for joining us today on Scholar Shores and sharing what you've been doing. I want to say it, and it's very cliche, but we need more like you. So
Thank you,
thank you
thank
for what you're
you.
doing. And until next time, everybody, you know the drill. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.